After UConn, number one team on KenPom, after UConn going up against Georgetown, who hasn't beat a high major opponent in 27 attempts, goes into Gamble Pavilion and knocks off the Huskies. I was sweating for a minute, but I'll tell you this much. I think that this was the kind, I texted you guys this and you laughed at me. I think that this was the kind of game that UConn needed, right? They are a team that's not going to necessarily beat you with skill. They are a team that needs to win by doing the things that you can control well. What can you control? You can control playing hard. You can control playing with intensity. You control your defensive effort, and you control your ability on the glass. When they do those things well, they are the best, one of the best, among the best in the country at it. And when they do those things well, all the other stuff comes with it. You get second chance points, you get points in transition, you get the effort plays, you get the crowd backing you because you have Joey California going and dropping behind the back dimes to Donovan Clingan. If they have to play a possession by possession half court game where they're relying on just their sets to be able to get them offense and just playing in the half court, that's not going to be the way for them to do it. They didn't rebound the ball very well on the offensive end. They didn't start playing defense until there were about 8 minutes left in that game, and they found a way to get it done. I think that was a wake-up call that they needed.
Hey, credit to Georgetown, though. I mean, 5 guys in double figures, battled their butt off on the boards, out-rebounded UConn by 12. I mean, credits where credit's due. I think Georgetown deserves that much. I mean, it's been a rough sled over the past 27 high major games, but you have to give them some credit there. They shared the ball. They played hard. Primo Spears played really well in his first time in stores at Gamble. All of that being said, UConn was asleep. And
yes, they were.
They were very lethargic to start out this game, but I thought it was promising with the fact that you had some guys, most notably Joey California, was able to come in off the bench and spark that energy. Some of the things that he was doing, energy-giving behaviors, right? Like he provided those, whether it was the behind the back pass, which was an incredible pass. I mean, he sold it perfectly. He went against the grain, threw it back the other way. Like it was a beauty to behold. The three, the Velcro finish. I mean, it was not a great pass. And
that
he was able to
ridiculous.
Catch that and go straight up.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
That was a stupid catch and finish. I mean,
real quick, I want to go back to the behind the back pass for a second, and because to me, what made that so impressive was a lot of times when you throw behind the back passes, you're throwing them to be fancy. You're throwing to be like, watch, this is going to be a highlight reel. Watch, this is going to be something that's going to get me on Sports Center. That was the only way he could get the ball there.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to be able to lob that thing up. He wasn't going to be able to throw a little pocket pass. He had to throw it behind the back to get it there. And that's, to me, that was what really stood out about that play. But I'm sorry.
And he put it on the deck.
Yeah.
Like that was a high skill level pass, and they needed that energy from somebody else. I also thought it was telling. Donovan Clingan only played 9 minutes, just because they go up against a guy in Qudus Wahab who is a tough cover. Now, is Clingan going to be able to give you more minutes whenever you play more competitive games? And when I say that, more against teams that are a little bit more skilled in there, are you going to be able to put Cling Kong in there? I think that's a concern, but overall, you have to credit UConn. You have to win games ugly, especially before Christmas, especially in a bit of a sleeper game against a Georgetown team who hasn't won a Big East game in 20 games now. So credit to UConn. They figured it out. You have to win ugly right before Christmas, and you're counting your blessings as you go back to the locker room.
Yeah. Here's the thing. It was as much adversity as UConn has faced this season, and it's a good thing that it happened tonight.
Yeah.
Because for them, it's a piece of humble pie. It's a reminder that you can't just walk into the building in the Big East against anybody and just assume that you're going to win.
Right.
And I look at it from this standpoint. UConn, for the first time this season tonight, went through an extended drought offensively, where it wasn't that they were missing shots, it's that they were selecting bad shots. Some of their shot selection was forced. It was pressing, and it was atypical of what this team has been. Jordan Hawkins shot 3 of 9 from 3. He was trying to hit that game-changing 3. It just didn't come tonight. Tonight is a night where we are reminded of just how deep UConn is. Right. That they were in an offensive rut, and that it's a kid that transferred in from San Diego that made a massive difference in the game. He's not going to do that every night. He might not do that again in Big East play from the standpoint of which he did it tonight because they have a luxury of riches. But UConn, it might have been Georgetown on the other side. I don't care. When they click, and tonight they clicked, Gamble Pavilion was as loud as I have heard any building in college basketball this season. And when they click, guys, UConn is an avalanche team.
Mhm.
It all comes at once, and there's no way to stop it. It's like an inevitable blizzard. Either you evacuate your area or you sit and you get, you know what, on. That's the fact of the matter with the Connecticut Huskies. So look, it's a win for them. You've turned the page. They have Villanova up next. It's not the same Villanova. And then they're at Xavier. And then they're at Providence. And I will say, guys, coming out of tonight, watching Providence and continuing to watch Xavier, like the Huskies are 13-0. Now we really are on when are they going to
We're going to know,
loss?
Fanta, we're going to know exactly what UConn is in the next 5 games. They get Villanova at home on the 28th. On New Year's Eve, they're at Xavier. On the 4th, they're at Providence. Then they get Creighton at home. Then they're at Marquette. That's the toughest 5-game stretch that they're going to have this season by a mile. And I would not be surprised if they went 3-2 in that stretch. Those are 3 really tough road games, and you're playing what I would say are probably the 2 most talented teams in the conference in that stretch at home in Villanova and Creighton. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out in those 5 games. They could be awesome. They look great. They won all these games by double figures. They covered 12 straight games, whatever it is. We are going to find out what they really are in these next 5 games. You go 5-0 here and you run through this stretch, then it's a very different conversation.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I mean,
now it's just kind of like, yeah, they've been really good. They've been really fun. They've been really promising. They beat the hell out of Alabama, but it's still, there's not a ton of statement wins on that resume, if that makes sense. There's good wins. There's quality wins. They've beaten good teams in impressive ways, but I don't know. We can move on.
Tristan Newton was good tonight.
Yes.
Your boy Hassan Diarra too. Like the energy, Joey made a couple plays, but the energy really started when they brought in Hassan to go be a pest on the ball. He changed that game.
Well, and
there was a couple times like Georgetown had some brutal turnovers. Like when UConn started pressing to try to
do that.
Yeah, they had some like a cook just threw it right to UConn. Like he must have forgot where he was at. Like
there's some Cleveland Browns elements to them. I
mean, it was tough, but those point guards gave energy. But Tristan Newton, like he's kind of the forgotten guy for a little bit, and he ends up with 17 and 7. So you have to be happy for him as well.